We had a pretty free and frank exchange of views at the beginning. And I did say at one stage, I felt that my job, in fact, was to get out of the way on this one. And that I did want to make a film about having courage and being kind, and that the most difficult thing would be to pare things down. And so I think they accepted that and said, okay, well, that feels like a strong point of view, even if the ultimate result is something that is a bit more naked, if you like. Hence the decision to not update, not to be in the 21st century, but to try and sort of find a timeless moment where, to some extent, you give people the world of a fairy tale that they might legitimately expect, but inside it, the playing and the characters are as modern as you can feel a story would allow, particularly the character of Cinderella, but this also applies to the prince and to the stepmother, where you can just see you can see beyond one-note qualities, and try and make that the area where there's the real complexity, not tricks and gimmicks, but just sort of greater density in the flavour. It was, and to feel that the story, part of the eternal appeal of the story is that there are layers and layers of meaning, and that there are many variations on it as well, across Perrault or Grimm or back in Egyptian times or the 1950 animation, but recent versions as well. The story is very elastic, but it felt as though the central family dynamics were key, and making an equal relationship between Kit and Cinderella was important. Mirroring their status as orphans seemed to be also a unique way of sort of poignantly sort of bonding them. But the determination was just that the characterization should have as much depth as possible, so that you could enjoy this surprise that fairy tales give you, their deceptive simplicity, the idea that you can check your brain in at the door because it's only a fairy tale, then absolutely sneaks up on you with great big emotional punches. People have come out of this movie weeping because the human dynamics to do with the loss of parents, to do with the vulnerability of individuals, the seeing someone we love bullied before our very eyes, when you want to run into that screen and protect them like parents may, or friends or sisters may want to do, is very emotive and emotional. So I think the piece really catches you by surprise in that way. I was with my father when he passed on, and I've definitely had that in mind myself. I was aware of what a great privilege it was to be there, but how difficult and painful it was. And I was very aware when we screened the film in Berlin that Richard Madden's father was in the audience, and that just for anybody who's aware of these life passages, these are poignant moments. What I loved about the scene was the sort of directness and the honesty, and also that Derek's character, like the others in the movie, does evolve. Even in the context of this kind of movie, in that it's a fairy tale, there is a progression, and in his case, right through until his deathbed, there's a changing man. There's a conversation. There's a volatility, and I think that really lent the scenes, and that scene particularly, a sort of a poignancy that was I think really well earned, and was so much to do with detail and economy and subtlety in the acting. What I love about that film is that it's a drama about restraint. You would think antithetical to the idea of drama, but I'd so untypical and yet so very typical of Scorsese to hone in on that. And one of the ways in which sometimes people respond to this film when they want Cinderella to be more kind of visibly or almost violently proactive, i.e. punch the stepmother in the nose, or do something that expresses a kind of aggressive entitlement. Don't be banished to that attic. What I wanted to do was, in the vein of Wharton, is somehow have all of these, or Wharton or Balzac, someone like that, these or Flaubert, these miniaturists of the human soul, where 3 pages of Balzac might be about the way Cinderella would react to a single instruction, but we wouldn't see it. What we'd see from her is that she breathes out, and the other character sees them apparently unruffled by it, but inside is a sort of seething mass of emotions. And I thought that The Age of Innocence was so beautiful about that, because it was all about the unspoken, and yet everything was so charged, Plus, it was very theatrical, the movie as well. You know, it's suddenly Daniel Day-Lewis is reading a letter, and we come into a close-up, and the background is red suddenly, and it's unexplained, and it's absolutely fantastic. A fairy tale with a heightened world allows you to be in that kind of territory, but at the center of even such an exotic moment like that is a moment of heartbreak, and so the ability to explore that with a new actor as subtle as Lily is, to express strength, restraint, consideration, intellectual consideration, thoughtfulness in a powerful way that frankly equates and perhaps trumps that punch on the nose and indicates a higher mind and a superior moral position without any priggishness or self-righteousness. And indeed, even that quality is only there if you care to go looking for it, if you care to receive it. But the depth is there at least. And so I found that something like Age of Innocence, with its lightness of touch, was a titanic movie in its impact.